In this session, what I'm going to talk about is accountability in risk management. Now, we've previously talked about risk ownership, but what I'm going to focus in today is purely on the accountability side. And I'm going to break it down into three distinct ownership categories. First and foremost, the risk owner, then there's the control owner, and then there's the treatment owner. So the risk owner, they are responsible for the oversight of the management, the day-to-day management of that particular risk. They are monitoring the control environment to make sure that it's effective. They're monitoring the environment to see if there's any changes to the risk. And they are monitoring the treatment owners to make sure that they are putting those treatments in place within the timeframes that are stated. Now, in terms of accountability, can they be held accountable for the effective management of that risk? Well, absolutely. They have the accountability to do all of those things that I've discussed. Then there's the control owner. They're responsible for making sure that the control is effective, putting in place a program whereby they can measure the effectiveness, the key performance indicators against that particular control. And they can be held accountable for that. You can actually put the control ownership for that person into their position statements and their performance reviews. And then there's the treatment owner. Now, the treatment owner, they are responsible for the implementation of the treatments that have been designed as part of the management for that risk above and beyond the controls that are already in place. Now, they are accountable and responsible for making sure that that treatment is done within the allocated timeframes and to the performance standard that is required. So yes, they can be held accountable for that as well. Now here's the problem. What about the accountability for the risk owner if the event actually occurs? And I've been quite privy to this because a number of people who've come on my courses have said, well, I was a risk owner and I did everything humanly possible, but the event still happened. And I was held accountable for that. Well, here's the thing. Even if you do have all of your controls in place and they are effective, and even if you've put additional treatments in and they are effective, there is still a residual to that risk. The only way you can get rid of the risk is avoiding the activity altogether. Now, therein lies the rub. If that event does occur, is it because of the incompetence or the negligence of the risk owner? Probably not. What we need to understand is that a risk has a chance of happening. We've taken all of these steps to control it, but that chance, albeit lower, is still there. So as a risk owner, if they've done everything in their power to make sure that that risk doesn't occur and it still eventuates, management needs to get some more maturity about them to say, okay, we did everything we could, it still happened. And then we do our post-event analysis, which was a subject of another blog, which you may want to go and have a look at. Remember, everything that happens is a system failure. There is no such thing as a one-cause failure. It is a systemic issue. And so how can the risk owner be held accountable for what occurs? So, responsibility, yes. Accountability for the management of the risk, yes. For the actual event, if it happens, well, if they've done everything humanly possible, then please don't look for a scapegoat. That's all I've got for this particular topic. As always, let's be careful out there.